Meet the Imponte Phoenix. Many people are posting up videos that this is one of the rarest vehicles in GTA right now. I don't know. I've had this car since the early game, and it still spawns, although irregularly. I still think it's fairly common in comparison to, say, event vehicles like the Sanctus motorcycle. The Phoenix, when it comes to looks, is a tempting vehicle to search for. It used to be the only Mad Max style role-playing car, and it could have made a great stand-in for a Smokey and the Bandit roleplay. The only thing that really kept it out of the mainstream draw was simply having access to it. It was more difficult to get than other cars, and that's sad because when it came out, it really was once people learned that it was a real car, they really kind of coveted it and wanted to have it. And I think that has a lot to do with just its looks itself. It's actually a very charismatic car. So let's test it and see how it stands up to today's competition. Our first test is for handling, acceleration, and braking. We do that here at Grapeseed Circuit. The Phoenix races well, but mostly because it never really pushes itself. If you keep it in the throttle in a corner, it will easily break free, but moderately getting off the throttle or using a little bit of braking, and you'll easily keep it under control. It felt perfect for a drifting car because it still maintained its balance as it would start to skid. It wasn't broken slow, but it was on the slowest car list. It wasn't able to beat the Tacoma Coupe, so there's no chance it'll ever take on any real competition, and most players won't want to put the work in just to tame it with its weird handling quirks. We're on to the highway runs where we're testing speed, and we do that here at Route 68. But don't get excited because the Phoenix isn't fast in a straight line. Again, it's not broken slow, but it runs like a heavy luxury car. It's grossly underpowered, and it seems to be struggling to go faster, but it just doesn't have the oomph to do it. It was on par with a Cognoscenti 5.5 or like a Super Diamond. And to be honest, I was actually shocked by this too. It felt like it was faster back in the day, but I don't know what would have changed. So here we are, and these are the numbers. Going down is where we're going to test out the dirt, and we'll see how it gets down and dirty. And this is where the Phoenix had some interesting issues. Sometimes the breaking loose and the loose dirt would kind of come together to combine and cause a weird issue that just guaranteed that you were spinning out. But again, you weren't going fast enough to not recover from any sort of spins or kind of pull it back together and get back on the track. And the trick was just looking for solid parts of the track, filling out things that were, track based versus getting into the weeds or grass. And once you had a problem, just get off the throttle or apply a little brake if it's too much, and you're just going to collect it back together, and you'll be right back on the track to run your time. It scored again in the low on its times, but it did a little better here than it did anywhere else, and that was really odd. But it still, over total, is still not a competitive car, no matter what track we put it on. The Phoenix clarifies the problems Rockstar had with its rollout. This would have been a highly embraced vehicle at the beginning of GTA Online, and in its power, that I think is highly accurate for its looks, would have made it a great entry-level car for a new driver that had really not either experienced arcade or the GT racing environment. Had it been common, it would have been something tons of people would have probably purchased or grabbed just for the role-playing or in general just having fun driving around. That's the truth. The rarest cars should have been the fastest and the toughest cars to find. It should have taken work. And instead, a lot of times Rockstar kind of just gave away the fastest car and ended up being the slowest cars that people should have had for role-playing and other things, which should have been very common, ended up being very rare. And it was kind of backwards thinking, and the Phoenix really clarifies that. Just give tryhard something to work for, and you'd have a better experience for people. Instead, they made them work to get the fun and slow car and stunted the role-playing growth, while tryhards made it impossible for new players to find their footing. The Phoenix is a fun and easy car, and that's saying that even with its handling issues. And it's worth the effort, I think, to get one. It may seem simple, but it does have some versatility. Players who drew actual Phoenixes into their club pages so they could have their logo on the car was more common than people realized, and until Rockstar made them that a bannable offense. And here we go back to, you have a car here that really has a place to shine and spread its legs, and again it's kind of being sabotaged, which is I think why it kind of fell out of favor, and I think that's why people really didn't drive it for a long period of time. When it comes to competition, though, the Phoenix, it won't be the car. It's on par with a Briosa, or a little bit slower than a Tahoma Coupe. In a straight line, it's even slower than a BF Club, and on the dirt, it'll run kind of with a Conjo SJ, and was a little bit faster than the Tahoma Coupe. And that's at best. That's not because of the handling either, it's just really a slow car. All being said and done, I still like the car. It'll do great for role play, just have some fun, or for that collector that just wants to have all the cool collectible cars in their collection. But it will not be competitive in any way, and there are cars that do what it does now way better than it ever could have. It just goes to show you how much the GTA Online environment has changed. So that's our review. I'm going to keep looking for time to make some more testing videos, and we're going to keep getting in some of those cars that many of you don't have access to anymore. So just keep an eye out, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you soon.